So I've just gone live on my IKFF. Hi, Maria. Would you want to add to the live?
How do I do this on live?
Yes.
Why am I not being able to find you? I should be able to find you.
My IKFF.
IKFF. Okay.
KFF?
Yep.
Yes. Yes. Can you send me a
Have
live
you
request?
added me? I have. I did send a request.
Can you send me a live request, Maria?
I did.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. Okay. There.
Okay, got it. All right, we're live on both the channels. Hi, Maria. Good evening. Such a pleasure to have you here.
Hi, Syed. Really nice to be here. Why is it echoing?
Okay, now it's going to echo. Is it echoing now?
Yeah, I can hear an echo.
No, I think it's better now.
Okay.
Super. So for everyone who's joined in, thank you so much. This is the KRAYON Studio live this evening with the multi-talented and the fabulous person, Maria.
Okay, so what's happening is I can hear double the sound.
You will need to reduce the volume on one of your systems, maybe, or mute one of your systems.
Okay. Okay. Fine.
Yes. So you will have, I think, both your Insta as well as your. Is this better now, Maria?
Yeah, much better.
Oh, fantastic. So thank you so much for joining in, Maria. It's been, I was really looking forward to it in spite of all the challenges, and we'll talk about that a little later. So we're doing something very interesting here as part of IKFF and the International Kids Film Festival. It's going to be kicking off in a couple of days. That's 20th of November. And this will be the 4th edition of the International Kids Film Festival. And I'm absolutely thrilled to announce that this year we have over 150 films from 40 countries and 30 languages that will be put together. And for 1 month, the families and the children can watch films on the KRAYON app. And we are absolutely excited about it. And to kick off this entire IKFF festival season, this is going to be our first live that we're doing. KRAYON on the platform has a division called Studio. And the idea of KRAYON Studio is to teach and to inform students about various skills, various talents. And it's a space where children learn. And as part of the KRAYON Live Studio series today, we're launching a campaign for IKFF called Kindness with IKFF. And as part of the IKFF this year, we have a fantastic film called Coco, a Red Dog. We're going to be talking about it. And
yes,
and so that's broadly what we have. So let's begin with Maria, your association with IKFF. It's now almost 3 years. 2 years ago, Zekes was a part of the jury. So
yes.
What was your experience being a mother, him watching some of those interesting films?
So I was not allowed to watch the jury films along with them because they said you cannot sit in while we're doing our jury work. So I used to go and just glance in. But most of the time they would say, no, we've got to concentrate on this and this is ours, so let us do it. So I think I watched maybe very few films with them that they said, okay, you can watch this with us. But most of the time they took their jury duties very, very seriously.
Okay.
Both very seriously. Okay. Both Zeke and Zene took their jury duties very, very seriously. And I was really happy actually to see the level of involvement. I was very happy about the fact that they were watching cinema from all over the world. Not just cinema from all over the world, but a cinema that is dedicated to children, to kids, that is age appropriate. And I think that is very important because today there are so many lines blurred. You know, sometimes I see my kids watching a film, watching something on television, and I look at it and I'm saying, this somehow is not looking age appropriate. And they're like, oh, mama, it's just about vampires. What's the big deal? You know, it's that. So I was really happy about the fact that the kids had this opportunity, you know, to get into various countries, to witness life in various countries, to witness different cultures, to hear various languages that they didn't understand, but you know, because the story was so beautiful. Of course, some of them had subtitles and everything, but the films were so beautiful that you really did not need to kind of you know, have a language that you actually understand. I remember this one film about this young boy who had grown his hair because he wanted to donate his hair. And you know, and everyone kept teasing him, and I think it was a documentary. It was not really a film; it was a documentary, and that was just a very so beautiful one. And yeah, so I'm very happy that my kids are part of this. You know, I'm really happy and proud of them.
I'm glad. And then, if I remember, Zeke last year was also a part of a delegation that went to Jiffany. And for those who are not, very familiar with the World Film Circuit for Children, the Kids Film Festival, Jiffany is like the pinnacle of children's film festivals. It's a small town. 50 years they've been doing the festival. Right. And how was Zeke's experience, and what did you feel, with his experience, and how did this whole thing go?
So I was very excited that he was going to be doing this, and he was doubly excited about it. I think in the beginning he was a little bit unsure because he was like, I'm going to live in somebody's home. So I was like, Zeke, it's going to be fun. He was all raring to go, and once he went there, I think he had such a blast because it was, firstly, he was out without his mom, who follows him everywhere. Okay, and then he was living with an Italian family there. They were really, really lovely, and they would send me, updates on him every day. If they went for a film, they would tell me. If they went somewhere to eat ice cream, they would tell me. If they went and had brioche, they cycled. So it was all very safe. And the fact that they had this bus that would pick them up and drop them. So they could get into this Giffoni bus that was for kids with their IDs. And they could just go anywhere they felt like, along the route. So it was, I think, I would say Zeke grew up a bit and he became a little, I would say, responsible for himself. And I'll never forget one day, he posted something on Insta saying hanging. And it was dark and he was all alone on the street. And I was like, okay, I've messaged Neha. I said, Neha, Zeke is somewhere out alone. She was like, no, he's gone back. That was some time ago. But on the whole, the vibe of, Giffoni, the children from all over the world, the amount of films that were shown to them, the fact that they had workshops, they got to meet directors, they got to meet some of the actors, they got to listen, to their interviews live. It just changed his love for cinema in a different way. I must tell you, he's taken film appreciation as one of his subjects now in the 11th standard. So that's what he's doing this year. But
This is
yes,
so nice to hear this from you, because it actually reinforces what we're trying to do. Because we live in a world, and that's the reason that we at LXL decided to start the film festival, is just the quality of content that our children are exposed to.
yes,
It's so base.
yes,
And on the other hand, Maria, there's so many good films that are made. There's just so much of good content out there for children. Somehow it doesn't reach our kids. And that's why the idea of IKEA. And you
no,
mentioned also
that is
another very interesting point, that he grew up a little bit with this experience. And that's the idea of education. When children learn about different cultures, about different stories, about different issues, I think that is as integral to education today as much or more than math and science. Because you and I have no idea which country our kids are going to be living when they grow up, right?
that's true.
And exposure to world cultures is basic of education. So yeah, I'm glad that Zeke has had this opportunity. And tell me about you. And you've been in the in the thick of the film industry in India. And I'm not going to ask you a question about your career, about your involvement in the industry. My question to you is, why do we make such few good quality films for children in India? What do you think is that? What's the reason for that?
Yeah, I don't think I don't think the filmmakers think there's an audience for just children, but I really do feel that there is, because it's the children who actually decide on what film you're going to watch on a Friday, because if something appeals to them, then that's the one you're going to. More often than not, I do not go to watch films because I feel they're not age appropriate, or there's something that I don't want the kids to be watching, unless it's a very generic film which I know. But most of the times, I'm not saying every film has to come with a story and every film has to teach you something, but I think there is a very niche kind of I would say artists who actually do films for children, and somehow the kids are just lost in the bigger picture, and that is a little sad. So I remember when I did that film with you all, I remember reading the script and I was like, wow, this is so cute and this is so sweet and this is so pertinent and it's so real and there were real issues. And I remember, and I was like, where is this film going to be played? And I kept wondering where this film is going to be played. And then I got to know that you guys do, film, basically film
a life skills
education
program in schools, and those films are used in class as a part of the curriculum. And isn't that so cool?
And I said, this is so cool, and that children are going to get to watch stuff that they can kind of resonate with, instead of just watching mindless stuff. So of course, we as an industry, as the Indians as an industry, as a film industry, is one of the biggest in the world. And I really feel there should be a designated, set of filmmakers, not filmmakers actually, like like some kind of, like what you guys are doing. You're actually adhere to the concept of making quality films for children. I think that can really be notched up, to a scale that is unthinkable because of the amount of talent we have in India. But I think that is not yet in the wheel of progress.
Right. And so consistently and very consciously, that's been our effort, Maria. And the new app that we've launched, KRAYON is dedicated to providing good content for children. So we're very clear that this is not going to be commercial masala content for children. We will have very, very entertaining stuff for children, but everything has to be meaningful, and that's going to be kicking off with the IKFF. And like I mentioned a while ago, it's going to be 150 films till the end of December. And my dream is next year onwards, it becomes like a full-fledged kids channel where there's consistent and constant content available for children. So that's the whole dream.
That's just really wonderful.
Right. So one of the good things that we've noticed, and without being pessimistic, and I think I have to mention that there's a lot of support that we get I think what we need to crack as an organization, and also the our schools and parents and the viewers, is to crack the business model for us. Otherwise, we get a lot of support. So IKFF this year has support from 6 of the world's largest film festivals for children, like Jiffany from Italy, Busan from South Korea. We've got Seattle and Providence from US. We've got the film festivals, and apart from that, the embassies of both France and Australia. So today's context, today's film, the Coco, which is what we are launching today as a part of the campaign. Now that has been provided to us with support from the Australian Consul General of Mumbai, and Coco is a film. And what we want to do is, through this film called Coco, a Red Dog, it's a documentary about a superstar dog from Australia. We want to launch this campaign called Kindness with IKFF. So let me start off by asking you, Maria, did you get an opportunity to watch this documentary, Coco, and what do you think about this film?
Yes, I did watch the documentary. I have not watched the film. I got to know about the film through the documentary, actually. And what I completely loved about it was the fact that Coco was not actually, I would say, an official actor. He was just a canine that was picked off a farm.
Yes.
He belonged to somebody before he got onto set, and yet he performed better than all the rest of the dogs. Like we all know that in a film that has animals, there's always more than one. Just like when there's a film that has kids, there are always 2-3 kids who are always pitching in for one another. So it was quite an interesting documentary, and I really loved the whole the way it flew, the way it just kind of flowed one into the other, and how he found the person that he wanted to live with. Of course, there was a very tragic end, and it just made me. I was like, oh God, no. So yeah, but it was such a beautiful documentary, and I really loved watching it.
I'm so glad that you have some very interesting points, and I loved it myself.
Yeah.
We're not supposed to have crackers, but we do have some personal
today.
Okay, I think that's it. So what I was mentioning was that this movie, Coco, was talking about this ordinary dog that goes on to become a superhero. And we wanted to, take this as an opportunity and talk about something which is very relevant to the Indian context. We have over 35 million homeless dogs in India. And somehow, whenever you notice, and especially in our circles, whenever you see anyone who's adopted a dog, it somehow seems to be a very fancy international breed with high maintenance. And, my team has given me some very interesting statistics about the myths of stray dogs. That the first one is that strays don't make good pets. Contrary to what most people believe, that strays don't make good pets. I think they're used to living in all kinds of conditions. And the moment they live with you, they tend to give you a hell of a lot more love than what you can wildly imagine. In fact, I've personally have had a couple of my friends at least, who've had strays as their pets, and they can completely vouch that a stray can give you as much or more love than any of the recognized breeds out there. So, what's your thought on that?
So I actually, Syed, have had. I just, in fact, rescued a kitten yesterday.
Yesterday,
a kitten. Yeah, I this is my second. This is my third rescue, actually. My first rescue was a little pup that went to somebody that I got to know later because she took the pup. My second rescue was a kitten that I found about a year ago in my garden. And yesterday there was another kitten I found. Her mother was injured, and there were big cats, trying to get to her. So I've just rescued her, and now we're all trying to figure out what to do. I can't keep so many animals at home. Having said that, I have two labs at home, and they have now made friends with my Minx, who's my 1-year-old cat. And now I've got this new little one at home, and she's called Luna.
Okay. So you've got a large extended family then.
Yeah, so now, but so the thing is, yes, the plight of our dogs in India is pretty sad. I must say that, and it is, and I really don't know, when we have so much of space, why can't we give them a designated area? Why can't they have a place where they can live? I know it's very difficult because there are so many people in India who do not have a space to live. So I'm sure that our government always looks at it like once the people all have homes to live, then they will look after the animals. But the fact of the matter is that animals are part of our ecosystem, and when that balance goes off, everything goes off. So yes, I do. I do. I mean, I have lots of packs of dogs that live around where I live, and at different junctions there is one set and there's one set. And sometimes I do see them get a bit violent. I do see them chase, what do you call it, cars and bikes and cycles. And sometimes, in fact, I also tell my kids like, don't go from here because those dogs will, run after you. I'm sure they do that because that's their home and they're just protecting their territory. But I still think if something can be done for them, whereby they are given an area in which they can just, live peacefully without people throwing stones at them or anything like that, it would be nice. I have not adopted an indie dog yet. I've had actually 5 dogs till now.
Mhm.
My first was a golden retriever. My second was a boxer that was given to me by somebody who had a litter. My third pup was their baby. Uh, and then I had Ziggy, who is again a black lab. I have Zuni, who is a golden lab. I have Mings, who is a stray cat. And as of yesterday, I have Luna, that's another stray cat. So I have to
So
stop.
you're out and out an animal person, and so here's another
I do.
couple of points that my team mentioned, and I think it's so relevant. Is that strays don't bond easily with new families, or strays are more likely to be diseased, and these are myths. In fact, if anyone's had a stray, they would know that they're far, far more resilient, and
Yes.
the chances of them falling ill or having any kind of ailments is much lesser than any of the pedigree breeds as it might be, and their maintenance is so much lesser. So, as a part of this kindness with IKFF, what we've done, Maria, is that we want to promote this idea of kindness with IKFF. So, for this entire month, so the International Kids Film Festival is going to start on the 20th of November to the 20th of December. We are going
Okay.
to have everyone who downloads and who subscribes for IKFF, we will be, pledging for everyone to feed a stray, right? And we've tied up with two partners, CARE as well as with CUPA. And for those who are not aware of these organizations, CARE is the Charlie's Animal Rescue Center, established in 2013. The inspiration
Wow.
behind the trust is a 15-year-old Charlie, a differently abled, three-legged Indian dog who was established figure in the field of canine therapy. So Charlie passed away in 2017, and but has left behind a big legacy. And Care Shelter, CARE, is our partner,
They are.
and we're going to be supporting them through this campaign. And the other partner for us is CUPA, Compassion Unlimited Plus Action. A lot of us have heard about them and the wonderful work they've done from 91. Miss Crystal Rogers, a British woman, who wrapped up a life in England to start a first ever shelter in this region that's around India, is to take suffering animals. So Cuba and Care are our partners, and for everyone who subscribes to the film festival, we're going to be taking care of a stray. And this film, Coco, is brought to us courtesy the Australian Consulate General of Mumbai. So, what are your thoughts on these organizations? Have you had an opportunity to visit any of these care
No,
centers?
no, I haven't. I haven't visited any of them. I, in fact, have I've not done any work directly with animal shelters. But whenever I do need help, if I find an injured animal or anything like that, or if I needed, like for instance, I told you about the little pup that we rescued. He was being chased by bigger dogs, and we ran after the dogs and we chased them away. And then we realized this pup was just running ahead, and so we went next to him and we called out to him, and he just came and jumped in the car and sat in my son's lap. He just sat in Zeke's, he just clung to him, and we were like, oh my god, now we have a dog in the car. And it was then I called up a few people. But what's wonderful is that each organization, what I've seen, my experience with this is that each organization really puts in their best forward and is really all out there helping you. And even if they have to rescue a snake, like I've had snakes come into the garden, and I've called someone and said, okay, they would say, oh, put a basket on it. I'm like, I'm so frightened, I can't to put a basket on it. But I've had a lot, especially the place that I live. It has like a huge garden in the middle, and there's a lot of wildlife. During this lockdown, we had lots and lots of kites that I've never seen before in the 5-6 years that I've lived here in this house. I'd see a kite really after a few months. I would see one. During the lockdown, I would see 25 on a tree, and I was like, oh my god. And I remember when I would go out to buy vegetables, I would see all the dogs just lounging in the middle of the road, so happy. There was nobody beeping, or there was no one chasing them. It was actually, I think this lockdown did nature a big benefit. They really
Right.
nature benefited from this lockdown. I think all of us also slowed down a bit, but I think nature on its own really I was really happy to see what was happening around in terms of there were more butterflies, there were more dragonflies. It was really beautiful, the amount of birds and the amount of bird calls I've heard during.
Right.
I saw monkeys in Versova. I mean, the last time I saw monkeys in Versova was 6 years ago. I saw monkeys again. I was like, oh my god. But yes,
Sure. And especially coming to taking care of strays, I think a lot of people have the tend to feed strays, and that creates a lot of rift between people who societies who think that you are encouraging strays on the street. But I think it's actually better to support organizations that take in strays like Cupa and Care, and that's what we're trying to encourage. And interestingly, these organizations exist in almost every part of the country. And so hopefully we're going to have a lot of people from across the country being a part of the International Kids Film Festival. And, for everyone who's going to be participating, we're going to be encouraging to feed a stray. That's what we're going to be doing through this particular campaign. So let's move on from the strays to the campaign that we're doing to the core and the meat of IKFF. With IKFF, we're not just talking, Maria, this year about kindness to animals. We're touching upon some extremely pertinent issues with the medium of films. We're talking about LGBTQI, that whole segment,
yes,
and that issues that we need to talk about. Because a lot of times this issue is being dealt with at an adult level. But,
yeah,
having been an educator all my life, I believe that issues like these need to be spoken to children much younger, because that's when they
yes.
have questions and that's when they're forming opinions. So,
And
in fact,
that's when they also don't have biases stuck in their head. They're more
yes,
open, they're more open, and they're more accepting of everything when they're younger.
right. Absolutely. So we're looking at issues like body image. We're looking at issues like kindness for animals. We're looking at issues like cultural sensitivity. We're looking at a lot of these issues. Um, Having been a mother now, and having to growing up kids, what, in your opinion, can schools do better to sensitize children to issues like these? Not just specifically your kids' schools. I'm talking about in general.
So I know that now they have now the kids are all doing one of their sex education talks by the time they reach the seventh. So that is something that goes in with the curriculum, and I think that is great. As far as the LGBTQ plus community, very little is being done in terms of that. You know, so that I think is also up to the parents to actually introduce them to basically its acceptance. At the end of the day, all the things that we want to talk about, it's all about teaching our children to accept the other for who they are, and that is what I mean. Me as a parent, that is my major thing in life. It's like, okay, so we are from here, you are from there, so we speak a different language. Sometimes I remember my kids, we would go somewhere and somebody would not speak English properly. And I remember reading this one line and it stuck in my head. And it said that if the person you meet does not speak your language, like it's supposed to be spoken, it means he speaks another language really well. And that is the truth. That is
That
the
is the
truth of
truth.
the matter.
Yes.
Yeah. And so that is something that I always tell my, if you go somewhere and, like when they were a little younger, they would say, oh my God, how kids are. Kids also can be as accepting, as loving, but also I think kids have that very uh, open, honest streak, which sometimes may tend to, if not guarded, it tends to become mean. So I remember this one sentence that really stuck with me, and it still stays with me every time I meet somebody who probably, like, I don't have a great command over different languages. So if you ask me to now do this interview in Hindi, I would be terrible. Or if you ask me to do it in Marathi, and since I come from Maharashtra, I can't speak it. So, but that does not mean that I'm any less than any other citizen here in India or Maharashtra. I was brought up with English as my first language, and so that's why I speak that. And I don't have an affinity for languages, so it's my advantage or disadvantage or whatever you may like to call it. But I think if you can teach your children acceptance, that everyone is different, and it's okay. Also the fact that a lot of times we tell our boys to be a little more manly. I don't think that's needed. You just need to be well mannered. I think you need to be kind, you need to be well mannered. It does not matter, the rest of it does not matter in the long run. So, because I would say I come from a place, like I came from, hosting television shows and doing ad films. So I met a lot of people who probably you would not meet in your everyday life if you work in an office, because, I think the arts is a little more accepting of
Mhm.
everyone, everything. I think what's beautiful about the arts is that your talent is your leveler. It doesn't
Right.
matter. The rest of it doesn't matter. It's what you can do with your talent. That's the great leveler.
Hmm.
And and I think that's the beautiful part about arts. That's the beautiful part about being an artist. In any field, actually, in any field, it's your art that matters, not anything else. Not your ethnicity, not your culture, not your language, not your religion, not your
Mhm.
socioeconomic background. All that kind of fades into the background if you deliver in terms of talent. And that's why I think I love the arts. I think it's accepting. It's everyone can come in here. Everyone can pitch in and do their bit, and it's all beautiful. So I
Wonderful.
think because I come,
And
yeah, I think
and since you talked
some,
about it as an art, cinema, the whole industry is an art form,
yes,
and we've gone a step further. So IKFF is not just about watching films. We've curated a lot of workshops, like I mentioned, about the LGBT or body image. We've also have a lot of skill-based workshops where children can learn nuances of filmmaking, like animation, storytelling, mobile filmmaking. So we've got these sessions, and somewhere, I was speaking to a friend of mine, and he said it's fantastic that you guys are doing this, and I'm like, this is the basic of education. I have a 2-year-old, and I would want her to start learning along with ABCD to communicate visually, because her generation is not going to write as much as you and I did. We don't write as much. The kids are going to communicate more visually, right? And so visual communication is going to be a very integral part of the societies. It already is. It's going to be a lot more in future. So that's what IKFF does. And here's the best part: we also have a student filmmaking competition. So everyone who's watching, once the children have watched these lovely films that we've curated from all over the world, which I can very safely say, Maria, is my team has spent 9 months, worked with some of the best partners in the planet to probably be one of the best curated online film festivals for children this year, because most festivals have not happened, and we've taken that risk, and we've gone ahead, and would love to have a lot of encouragement from people to be a part of the festival and also make films. So that's the whole IKFF. Have you thought of making films yourself, Maria?
No. The only little things that I do are travel videos, because I love travel. I do a little food videos, but no, I've realized film is not my strongest point. So I stay away from No, I don't think I've never thought of making even a short film. But I mean, that's not my forte.
Right. But I think a lot of young people, young students out there, it'll be great to see a lot of young talent coming up. And my dream is in future, 10, 20 years down the line, you have a lot of, celebrity filmmakers who turn out and say, our first film we made was for IKFF when we were kids. And I think that's the dream, to create future generation of sensible filmmakers.
To create future generation
right.
of sensible.
Absolutely.
Yes. That's important. I've been so I was going through the Insta page, and I saw so many children who have their films in, and that was so interesting. On the page, it was like, I was like, wow. And I was looking at the ages, and I was like, oh my God, how talented! There's so much of talent in this world, today. And there's so much of enthusiasm, but also along with all of that, there are avenues like IKFF, there are avenues like Jafoni. They have all these avenues today that promotes children who do stuff like this, and that is so important.
Yes.
So I think I think because of this change in season, where you actually let the responsibility up onto the children, and they will deliver. They absolutely will deliver. And that is what we are seeing today with all the kind of little films that are coming from all over the world. I think that is so interesting and so amazing.
Absolutely. And, the fact that children starting November 20th are going to get exposed to films from countries they have only heard of. And you've never heard of a film from Chile or a film from Namibia, right? So when you have these countries where you've only heard of them, but you don't know what their culture is like and what their stories are like. So it's going to be it's opening up a world of issues and ideas and stories. And I believe that the primary and the basic objective of any education is to make children wonder, is not to teach them. If you can make children wonder, I think we're going to live in a much better world, because it's the people who wondered that are the ones who innovated, are the ones who created, are the ones who are creative, because you're the ones who are thinking beyond the obvious. And I think that's the purpose of IKFF.
It's the inquisitive one.
Yes, absolutely. So on that note, I'd like to wind up. I have a few, lots of, messages coming up for you. Oh my God, there's just so many. You need to come up. By the way, there's a suggestion for you and Arshad to come up with a food and art show for you and Arshad, not just for you, by the way, right? And there's just a lot of love for you, and
thank you.
The loads of them saying a big fan of you, Maria. Hi, Maria, ma'am, my inspiration. Great to see you. I mean, it's just just going on and on. And for all of those who are watching in, Maria, I've lasted this 40 minutes. I was wondering if all's going to be well. By the way, for those who are listening in, I tested positive for COVID yesterday, was it? Today is Wednesday, Monday, 2 days ago. And the only symptom that I have is that this morning I had a little fever and a headache. But as you can see, I'm absolutely normal. So I'm
You're
wondering.
absolutely fine, Syed. And you have to just, build your immunity. You have to probably isolate yourself and just keep your spirit up. I think.
And what better way than to have a conversation with you? Can you imagine if I had missed this opportunity? My spirits would have gone down.
That is so sweet. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thanks, Maria. And thank you so much for the support. So I'm going to wind up. Sorry.
I said, you please get well soon. Please get well soon.
Yes, inshallah.
We're sending you lots and lots of blessings and lots of positivity and light and everything possible so that you get fine.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And that's what I need, a lot of positivity. And that's what, is going to get us out of this. So I hope to talk about my COVID experience soon. And hopefully it's not as scary as the world has made it out to be.
I hope, yes. I think you've got great immunity at the moment. I think you have to just keep that up. I think you have to just, do what your doctor is telling you to do. I think basically during this pandemic, the most important thing is to keep your insides smiling. And I think you're good at that. So there's no worry about that.
That's so sweet. Thank you so much. And hopefully the films of IKFF are going to keep me in positive spirits. So thank you, Maria. Yes. And for everyone who's watching in, please join us for the International Kids Film Festival 2020. It's going to be from November 20th to December 20th. And you can watch exclusive films that you will never get to watch in any other platform or channel. 150 odd films from 40 countries. And in addition, you can also learn a lot. So children and the families can learn a lot about media, filmmaking, and a lot about pertinent issues. And finally, make a film and participate in a filmmaking competition. All of this is a part of IKFF. And today, with the wonderful Maria, we've just launched the Kindness with IKFF. So everyone who subscribes for an IKFF this year, we're going to be taking care of a stray with the help of CUPA and CARE. And this initiative is supported by the Australian Consulate General of Mumbai. So with this, we come to the end. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. Please spread the word and help us take IKFF to all the spaces. So I'll leave Maria with the last words.
Okay, so I just want to say that as somebody who has been part of IKFF in the capacity of an actor and in the capacity of the mom of a juror, I must say that I have been really lucky. I've been blessed and honored. And, you guys are doing a fantastic job. I need to be part of the team very soon, Syed. This is something that I want to do because this is something that's really close to my heart. So I don't want to be involved with you guys just, once in a year when I do something with you guys. But this is something that I really, really want to take up and be part of. I am so happy that my kids are part of, IKFF in their own little ways. Last year, I had a whole lot of other children that I knew who were also part of IKFF as jurors. And, I think that's the only way that, children, if you involve children, they just blossom into amazing human beings. And thank you for getting world cinema that is age appropriate for all our kids here. And I wish you all the very best for the film festival. And God bless you, and please do get well soon.
Thank you, and thanks, Maria. So look forward to having everyone with us on IKFF. Have a great evening and take care. Bye-bye.
Yeah, have a great evening. Bye. Bye.